What is up, everyone? Circon here, bringing you guys another video. Today we're actually gonna take a look at the test server and we're gonna preview the Obj.277, the new tier 10 Soviet heavy tank. So let's get right into it. First up first, let's take a look at how it is in the test server right now, because you guys probably want to know how much XP you actually need to unlock it. And we've already known that this tank was going to come out for quite a while. They actually announced it even before the previous patch, I believe, because it was already kind of like in the tech tree. It was just covered up, basically. So yeah, the new tier 10 is located somewhere here. There we go. So you need to have 220k, basically 221k research costs. Obviously, just like every other tier 10, it's going to be 6.1 million. And hopefully you already grinded your tier 10 to have your XP ready to get to tier 10. And if you are watching this video before the patch comes out, you can already have, turn your crew training off and do your dailies in the T10, so you can get the Obj.277 right on patch day, like many other people are doing. So yeah, that is the XP that you need. So let's now take a look at the tank itself and compare. What do you actually get over the T10, right? That's always the main question I have. It's like, is it actually worth the upgrade? Because usually tier 9 tanks are in such a sweet spot that I feel like the tier 10 doesn't really feel like much of an upgrade for the matchmaking that you get. So yeah, let's take a look comparing the T10 to the new Obj.277. Obviously, it's tier 9 versus tier 10. And you can already immediately see that the alpha goes up to 490, a very beefy 490, whilst keeping the same reload, which means you have, over 400 more DPM. Aiming time is a lot nicer. Dispersion is a lot nicer. Whilst on the move is all nicer. After firing, it's worse with the same reloads. So that's a little bit weird. But all in all, the gun handling gets a lot better. Mobility-wise, it has a lot more engine power. Even though the frame resistances are a lot worse, in reality, and you'll see in the replay that I'm going to play for you guys later, is that the mobility feels pretty damn similar, if not maybe a little bit slower than the T10. And the hull armor goes up by 20 as well, and we'll take a look at the hull armor in a second. Turret armor goes up to 290 now, and it has 2200 health instead of 1800. So definitely a pretty big upgrade. And also the fire chance goes down by 3%, so running food is a little bit safer than on the T10 with 15% is already pretty decent. So yeah, definitely the gun gets a huge upgrade. So let's take a look a little bit further into the gun. The pen is insane. Like, I think this is gonna get nerfed, right? 265 base pen is just good, right? I think that's normal. However, 350 APCR pen is absolute insanity. Especially when you take a look at this, and it has 1800 velocity. So that is absolutely insane. One of the fastest shots in the game right now. And after playing it, I actually did not fire this APCR round. I just, read it later after playing it. Because I don't think I actually fired this APCR round myself. But 350 pen is absolutely insane. And we'll take a look at the, comparing it to other tanks in a second there. But I think that's gonna probably get nerfed, okay? Unfortunately, on tanks.gg, the model isn't really there yet for the collision, so we can't really 100% check the armor of the thing, but I did play a bunch of games, both on and off stream, to, give a little bit of a better impression. But we can already take away a couple of things from the hull. First things first, good news, it does not have a V-shaped hull, so we don't have to complain about that. It has a regular ass hull, just like the T10. The lower plate and the upper plate is actually kind of funky, because it is not the standard pike nose that you're used to seeing on the Soviet tanks, and it's actually more rounded, kind of reminiscent of American tank design, where, as you can see here, it's actually pretty well rounded. And this lower plate, as far as I could tell on the test server, which is not the best way of testing tanks, this lower plate is an actual lower plate, meaning that's an actual weak spot, and it's also fairly big. The upper plate at 140, and with kind of the same roundiness to it, is really solid. I didn't really have any issues even bouncing the gold spamming test server people, so that was absolutely fine. I also didn't really get shot too much in this cupola, which is, I think, the only weak spot on the tank, but like, it's so well hidden that once the collision model comes out, it might not even be a weak spot. So the turret is really, 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 really solid. Not quite i7 levels, especially in the side and in the rear, but overall a really, really nice turret. And of course, coming after the T10, I think this is an excellent way of upgrading your T10, right? It just literally is a better tier 10. Nothing too crazy. An actual still weak lower plate. Still, you know, the space side armor that we're all used to from the T10 as well. Flat hull and, you know, a little bit of a better hull because it's not the pike nose design. So this should be a little bit better. Again, we cannot look at the detailed armor layouts because only the visual one is working right now. But, you know, a little bit of experience, I can give you guys some good info on that a little bit, actually. So, yeah. Anyway, let's compare it to the other tier 10 tanks. I've chosen the i7 and the Obj.277. The Obj.277 is a little bit of a weird one in this list, but I feel like it's one of the newer tanks, so we can, you know, compare it to that as well. And then the WZ5A and the 113 are pretty much the direct competitors to this tank. And especially the 5A is the one you should look out for, because that is a really similar tank, right? And, you know, 113 as well. But the 5A, you know, alongside the Super Conqueror is one of those absolute beasts, right? It's one of the better tier 10 tanks. So definitely keep an eye out on comparing these stats to these stats as you're watching this. But yeah, DPM-wise, a definite upgrade over the i7 and the 705A. Like, it just gets a way better gun with the same reload as the T10, so that is excellent. It still falls behind our Chinese brothers here, though. So, yeah, overall, pretty damn nice. It's, you know, similar 490, than the 705A is that weird 650 alpha gun, and the 113 has 440. Kind of wish that this was 490 as well. But yeah, anyway, so gun-wise, we're in a really good spot here. Let's take a look at the gun handling. Also seems really freaking good. The main thing you have to watch out for here is that it has a gun depression of 5.5, 5.5. And that's actually a relatively big deal because the Chinese have 7, which is one of the main reasons why the 5A is such a comfortable tank to play, is that it has such an aggressive... It's such an aggressive tank that still keeps good gun depression, which is usually the main weak spot of these kinds of tanks, right? It is a lot better in the gun handling department, or at least a little bit better in gun handling department. And mobility-wise, it also is, you know, up there, 55 kilometers an hour, pretty good power to weight still, better than the 5A and better than the 113, slightly worse than an IS-7, and then and traverse and all that, it just falls behind the Chinese as well. So a lot of people are saying, oh, well, rip the 5A, but actually I think the 5A is still probably more comfortable to drive for a lot of people, and I think the 5A will still edge out in front of the 277 once these tanks hit the live server, right? On the test server, it's kind of hard to test, ironically, because everybody's playing the same tanks, and you're playing against Object.277s yourself all day, every day. And yeah, so... comparing the hull armor as well, I feel like the hull of the 277 is a little bit better than the 5A, because the 5A is that weird pike nose thing. So against your own tier, I think the 277 kind of edges out there. Both have a weak lower plate. And yeah, overall, it looks like a really solid tank. The only really weird thing I found is that the APCR round is absolutely bonkers, and 350 pen is way too much. Like, if you compare this to the IS-7 or something like that, it has around 307 pen. I think that would be better for the 277 as well, because it already has, as far as I could tell, a little bit better gun handling, right? So with better gun handling, you need, you know, you can actually aim a little bit better, and you don't need 350 pen at that rate, right? 350, I think that's going to get nerfed, but overall, playing the tank, I think it's going to be, you know, a decent tank, not some Object.268 version 4 fiasco all over again. But yeah, I'm just going to show you guys one of the replays I played earlier, and yeah, we'll talk about a little bit more about the tank then. Alright, so like I said, we're just going to take a look at one of the games I played on the test server. I think this one was also on the on the live stream. So we're taking a look at the 277. As you can see, there's like a million of them in this game. Well, roughly, you know, roughly about half. Yeah, roughly about half. There's 2 people playing the K91, which is the other medium tank that I'll probably do a video about on as well. If you guys like this video, I might do the K91 as well. But this is by far the one people are most excited about. I guess it's because a lot of people have have the T10 and don't really have the medium tank grinded, because there's other medium tanks that are also really good. Like, people tend to just get the 140. But yeah, so here we are on Live Oaks. It's a full tier 10 game, and thank the Lord there is no artillery for once. Holy shit. I don't know why people play so much artillery on the test server. I don't even know why people play it on the live server, but on the test server is extra ridiculous. Like, people want to check out the new tanks. But yeah, here we are. We don't have artillery, so GG. Very good. But yeah, so this video is just basically to give you guys an impression on how it looks and feels to play the tank instead of just looking at the stats, you know what I mean? And here we go, hit our first bounce into the upper plate, trying to obviously hit the wheel there, the front wheel, but not actually getting it, unfortunately. And this is where the 2.5 gun depression is a little bit awkward, right? And they actually managed to pen me. I think they actually just have the same shot I do, where it's like the front wheel. Because if you go over frontally, then your lower plate is going to be exposed before you can shoot them with the gun depression that you have. And this is again where the 5A would simply just be better, right? With 7 degrees gun depression, that would be a lot nicer. TFP goes in ham, so I'm just like, alright, well, I guess we're doing this. And I'm trying to go forward, trying to get a lower plate shot or something like that. And again, the gun depression is just not enough to get it actually, and the TFP dies after just trying to clip one of these heavy tanks here. It is the test server, so you know it's always a bit awkward to test. As you can see, it's gold flying everywhere, which is well, exactly like the live server. It's a little bit more extreme on the test server. Let me just say that it's a little bit more extreme. Like, everyone is shooting gold, not just like some try hard tier 10s, but like everyone is doing it. So I'm trying to get these lower plates in, but just not getting it. Trying to support the Badger as much as I can. Trying to win the flank before we all die in the city. As you can see in the mini-map, they're all dying over there. It's a K91 going middle. Yeah, trying to get the lower plate. Can we finally get one? No, we cannot. Probably should have fired earlier and just less aimed, because it was more of a surface to shoot at there, the lower plate. As you can see, the upper plate is just absolutely beautiful here. And now we finally get that lower plate. Easy peasy. 504. That's the nice thing about 490 alpha, is those, you only have to high roll a little bit to get 500 out of it, and for some reason it just feels really good to do that. So if we get shot in the side again, I'm pretty sure I'm checking where he penned me, because you know, I'm trying to do my best to not actually get penned, but with all these people shooting 350 pen APCR, it's kind of hard in a heavy to start bouncing things. And here you can see a little bit of the speed, going up this hill relatively quick for a heavy tank. You know, as is with the T10, which is really nice. Like, the T10 is probably one of my more favorite tier 10 heavies, or tier 9 heavies, I should say, because of the mobility, right? I don't really like the slow tanks, and I just love the 440 alpha on the T10, and I love the 490 on this tier 10. It just has that combination of reload and alpha that I really enjoy, right? I don't enjoy the E100s and guns like that. Like 650, 750 alpha guns are just absolutely not for me. And I think some people might enjoy those guns more than I do, and don't enjoy these kinds of guns. But I like the, you know, around the 10-second reload kind of guns, where you can still track some people, make some, you know, you're not completely screwed after you fire because you have to reload for 18 seconds or so, right? So I really enjoy that. And now we're in a bit of a pickle here on Live Oaks, because the i7 is going forward into a K91 that he will never ever outspot, because those things are like souped up Object 416s with good camo. And so the i7, I was like, you know what, maybe we should go for it, but then I was like, the K91 is going to spot and just tear us apart. So I'm going to go back and try to just make the most out of this game. Like I said, it is the test server, so getting some really proper footage is always kind of hard, because it's all over the place, these test server games. Literally all over the place. So trying to get the snapshot in 277 there, but nope. And now we're going to do some other long range sniping on the E3. We're never going to get spotted because we're well out of fuel range, so we're good. We even managed to track him as well and get 2 criticals. And hoping to get another shot in. As we almost did tortoise there, but the Badger misses a shot on the lower plate. Trying to hit the blind shot there, but it's an E3, so kind of hard to pen those things reliably, even from range, even when they're spotted, so yeah. So where it's, you know, we're down a couple of tanks compared to them. We have somebody playing the 50B in the test server for God knows why. and the 57 heavy as well, which is less odd. The 50B is really odd to me because it's just not really a good tank, especially when everybody else is testing out a relatively heavily armored heavium tank, right? So I'm just trying my best here with the Badger, trying to not get spotted by the 277 and went over the hill. And you'll see why, like, a lot of people tend to forget this, but when you're not spotted and they know where the Badger is, he's gonna go straight for the Badger, give me an easy shot, and he's like, oh, wait a minute, and then doesn't even shoot the Badger. So it's kind of like teamwork, even though the Badger doesn't know he's a part of the teamwork. And then we get a free shot into the side there, which is really, really nice. I'm trying to just get another shot here, but gun depression-wise, we're just not getting it. And I don't want to go over the hill because then he's going to have excellent shots on my lower plate. And by now, we're really in trouble. Trying to just make the most out of it here. Can we get another side shot there? Because obviously I want to do damage and track him at the same time. And we actually exchange shots where we both just track each other with no damage. So I have the reload advantage here. So I shoot him in the lower plate. And then I'm going to try and go face hug. But he already is reloaded as well. So he also gets a lower plate shot that face hugs me, and now I'm just like, okay, well, if I'm not getting that shot, maybe we can get this one, but no. And now everybody is on me, and I'm actually just gonna get absolutely annihilated and drowned to death on the damn test server. But yeah, anyway, short, impressions on how the tank actually plays. It's a lot better than just looking at the stats. You can see it move around, go up and down hills, bounce a couple of shots, bounce of other people, sniping a couple of shots. Hopefully give you a little bit more of an indication on how the tank performs when you're actually playing it than just looking at the simple stats, right? So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of video previewing one of the test server tanks. I might do one in the K91 if you like this video. You know, if this video goes down well, I might do one in the K91. I have a pretty good replay of that one lined up as well. So yeah, subscribe if you haven't already. Maybe check out some other videos. We did 2 rant videos in the weekend that you might want to check out, especially the last one, the Little Tanks Matchmaking rant, if you're into that sort of thing. But as per usual, I always have stream highlights going up almost daily, and I'm really trying to get better at this whole YouTube thing and actually making some proper YouTube-only videos, right? Not just highlights. So yeah, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.